Look at that fish, son.
Oh!
Oh!
I had, see those? I had
Oh,
two or
yeah,
three
they're
cases
schooling
wide,
up. They're
yep.
schooling up. That's when you start throwing these baits, you know, when they start schooling a little bit. Oh, yeah, look
Nice
at that,
fish.
Matt. Little Canyon Lake bass. Come on, bud. You're done. You're done. You're done. Ah! Good little, what do you think, 2?
Oh,
Pound
yeah.
and 3/4, 2-pounder?
Easy 2 pounds.
Yeah. Folks, today we're at Canyon Lake with my buddy Matt Shura, out here doing it once again. I get a lot of requests all the time, Matt, about, hey, what do we do here at Canyon? It's a tough lake.
It is a tough lake.
You've lived here your whole life and you've fished this lake a lot, and enjoy sharing the boat with you, but man, you're right. You have to be versatile on this lake, but there's certain things and certain times of year that work, and when they start schooling up, what do?
Go to reaction baits.
That's right.
Absolutely. Cover some water and go to reaction baits. I mean, a couple weeks ago I was up in here and they were chasing shad quite a bit all over the lake, and any kind of shad baits, you know, we're throwing the paddle tails today, and I've caught them on jerk baits and even some Alabama rig fish as well.
That's cool.
So, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, when you're throwing the Alabama rig and catching fish on that, that's a lot of fun too. These baits are fun because they're just, you can cover a lot of water with them. And you know, we've gone down the bank quite a bit, but you eventually get that one that blows up or eats it, you know. And I'll tell you what, this is one lake you'll see a lot of followers, and we've talked about that with the swim bait fishermen. They come out here and they tell us all about the big ones, and they catch a few of them big ones, but you know, you get a lot of them big followers on swim baits. And we've been noted for throwing these little paddle tails, but some of these guys throw giant swim baits, and I'll tell you what, they catch them. They really do catch them out here. And I'm sure there's certain times of year there too.
Yeah, absolutely. When they're, you know, they stock the trout in the wintertime, and you know, they know when, and they come up here the day after or the day of, and you know, the bass just eat them. You know, those trout they stock, the bass just eat them, and they throw those big trout baits, and those guys can catch. Those guys are catching, you know, 8 to 10 pound fish, you know, pretty regularly.
First thing I asked Matt when we hit the water today was, can we throw those big crankbaits we threw last time?
Yeah.
He said they're a little bit shallow right now in schooling, so the big crankbaits ain't working so hot right now, but we had a heck of a show one time on those big crankbaits, didn't we?
Yeah, the XD10s, and I've been throwing them quite a bit here, and they're just not working for me like they were, you know. Just had that little time where they were really working well, and I haven't been able to get that bite going again.
Well, we'll see what we can't do. We'll go down the bank. We got a couple of different lures we can play with and see what happens. We'll just play it by ear. The one thing fun about just coming out and hitting the water is we just launched, we came straight across the lake, and we're just kind of working our way down the bank, and we'll see if we can't catch a few fish here. That wasn't a bad fish.
No, it was a nice fish.
You know?
I had one right at 10 pounds last week, you know, right around here, so.
That's why he said get down here. We'll get to fish a little bit before our big tournament this weekend. We got a Wild West Bass team tournament coming up, and I'm kind of excited about that at Lake Pleasant. And we can't be on Lake Pleasant, so it's off limits at this point, right? So
yep.
We'll just come out here to Canyon Lake. I love this lake. Matt, this lake, I didn't realize had so much to offer. You got the reeds, you got the rocks, I saw grass where if you wanted to throw a frog, you could actually almost throw a frog back in some of that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one thing that I've seen in the last several years is the grass is come around, you know, like Saguaro Canyon, even we're seeing the grass at Apache and Roosevelt now. And it's like, I grew up fishing Arizona like you, and you know, you had grass up north, but we'd had the stringy, nasty grass, you know, at Saguaro, but not the crispy, good grass that holds the fish, and it's neat to see. It's really good for the fishery.
Well, one thing that helps us with these little paddle tails that we're throwing today is two things that really help. Number one, getting a good cast. So we're using the braided line, of course, and we're throwing these things weightless. So I mean, the bottom line is you got to have a good spinning outfit. I'm using the Taipan Elite Series medium action rod. You know, it's a 7-footer. It's a great rod for this. And then you want to tie on a fluorocarbon leader, like an 8 or 10 pound test fluorocarbon leader, and just tie on a 3/0 or a 2/0 wide gap hook and put these things on and go. They're a lot of fun. The bait itself is just a little, you can see it's just a little paddle tail. You can pick them up at Bass Pro Shops, and You just throw them out there and reel them in, basically. It's like crankbaiting, isn't it?
Yeah, just covering water, looking for the active ones.
Oh, there's one.
Oh, that's a nice fish.
Not a bad fish right there. Oh, look at all the shad right there.
Oh yeah, there's bait here.
There's bait here. He's taking drag. He thinks he's a stud. Thinks he's a stud. Come on.
Not ready, huh?
You know how they are. Let them fight a little bit. Come on, you're done. Thank you. You're done. Oh yeah! He ain't quite as big as that last one. Pound-and-a-halfer, we'll call him.
They are healthy though.
They are. I mean, look at them.
Well fed.
Just look at them, well fed. There's a lot of bass in this lake too, folks. I mean, a lot of bass. Whoa. Get back out there and get them. You know, there's little tricks of the trade, just like with any other type of technique that you throw, and this is one of them. When you're throwing the reaction, you get that breeze, it helps. We'll get that little bit of breeze, it seems like we get a bite or something, and then it lays calm for a few minutes,
yeah.
And then, you know what I mean? It's just, it's weird. I don't know if it helps silhouette the I don't know how to say it, but.
Makes the fish less spooked for sure, and it makes them more aggressive.
Yeah, there you go.
Get more, they commit more to the bait, it seems, when you get that little bit of breeze, and that breeze slows down. It seems like that's when you get the followers where they won't eat it, so.
We're just kind of working down. That fish just kind of came up and slurped it. He didn't do a whole lot. One thing you got to remember is not to be too overzealous. When you see the fish hit it, give him a chance to turn on it, because I'm bad about it. I'll throw out there, I'll get bit, and I'll see the bite, or I'll see the fish strike it, and I'll set the hook way too soon, and I miss the fish, so.
We're all guilty of that.
Yeah. Oh, you got him.
Got him.
I saw that.
Oh, it's a little one.
Monster bass. He's got a monster bass. Little Canyon Lake bass is what that is. This is, oh wait, that's not a bad little fish. It's still a little pounder.
Boy, they think they're big though. They don't know the difference. It's a future 10-pounder though right here, I'll tell you.
It is on this lake. Let me tell you, I don't know how they grow so big, but it's crazy. You know, one thing we're doing is, I told you we were throwing those wide gap hooks. And the whole purpose of the wide gap hook is so you have a keel so the bait runs straight. You don't want it turning on you and things like that. So that hook is an awesome hook for this. I've seen other guys throw those straight shank hooks and stuff. The problem with that is your bait, if it's not running totally true, it'll turn sometimes and twist your line up. So, and you don't want to use a swivel for this. Some guys do, but I don't prefer to using it. I like to tie direct, so I'll use that Alberto knot on that braid. Sometimes the swivels, you know, especially if your bait's not running right, you won't even know it, and it'll just keep turning and turning and turning. You gotta know, so you gotta really watch it.
Yeah, and it adds weight to the bait, and you know, it's not
natural.
It's not natural.
Is that a good one?
It's not fighting back yet. Nope.
Oh, not a bad fish. Bigger than his last one, folks. That was what, 3 casts later? Three casts later. That's what we're talking about. When you get into them, you start seeing these shad.
Slow down a little bit.
Slow down a little bit, because look at this. They're under those shad.
Yeah, they're.
Look at that.
Chasing the bait.
Good job. Good job.
Chasing the bait around, and usually if you find one, it's about the same size, not very big. Of course, you should have been here last week.
That's the way it always is. Anytime we bring the camera.
How many times have we said that? We had a 7.5 and a one that was right at 10, like I said, right in this area, and it was on these baits, you know. Pretty neat when a 10-pounder comes up on top.
Oh my goodness, crushes you on a spinning outfit? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
On a spinning outfit?
A lot of fun when that happens.
You know the fight's on, and what's really cool about throwing these with spinning gear is not only do you get a good cast with them, but like Matt says, when you hook the big fish, the fight is on. You want a good fight, you know, unless you're fishing in the trees with, you know, and you think you have to use 20-pound test line. We're in open water out here, and it's so much fun just to get the fight, you know. That's part of the fun of catching fish is the fight, so. Using light tackle, that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. We're in open water, so you know there's not a lot of structure, trees for the fish to take in. So you know, let your drag do the work. Once you get them hooked, you know, let them fight. Just keep a tight line on them. You know, I fish where people just are constantly reeling the whole time they're fighting the fish. It's just like lift up on your rod, reel up the slack, and let your rod, you know, do the work for you, and it'll. And also, when you're cranking, it'll spin your line up too. You know, if you keep cranking that reel without,
yeah.
without
and I'm bad
moving the
about
line.
that with the drag going. That's one good ticket right there to remember. Is anytime you're fighting a fish and your drag is set and you're spinning, your drag is actually spinning off, and you can hear that. If you're reeling at the same time, a lot of times you're twisting your line up. So let the drag go, then pick up the slack. But I'm just as guilty. Trust me, I'm just as guilty. You'll see me catch those Cinco fish, and I'm reeling for all it's worth, baby.
Oh, there
I
you go.
watched him come up and grab it.
That's cool.
You know what? These aren't giant fish, but they're fun fish. A lot of fun to catch. A lot of fun to catch. Here he comes.
Nice. But even the little ones are strong, you know?
Yeah, yeah, they're a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
It's funny.
There you
Funny
have
we're
it.
calling pound-and-a-half fish, and
Yeah, if
you
we
know,
were at Roosevelt right now, we'd be going, yes, a keeper.
it's all relative to the lake you're on, huh?
That is crazy, you know.
Willow Springs, that's a monster.
Oh, that's a monster. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, you get up in the White Mountains, you catch a fish like that, you feel like you got a shot at winning. Got him.
There he
All
is.
right, nice fish.
I think it is. Oh,
That's a nice
decent
one.
one, yeah.
Yes, finally.
Oh,
What we're doing is chasing these shad around. We keep seeing them.
he's
That's a nice one. That's not a bad fish.
not happy.
No, he ain't happy. Look at the flash on that thing. Good job.
Get him up. There he comes.
That's a nice fish, dude.
Yeah, that'll work.
Heck yeah. We needed that fish. Good job. Good job, Matt.
Looked bigger in the water.
It did. It looked sharp, but it's
Felt
still
bigger.
still a good fish, though.
I'll take it.
Heck yeah, all day. It's been tough, but we're running this bank. Here's the deal. We decided to run this bank because we looked down and there's shad running. So those bass will be under those shad, right?
Yeah, you know they're around, and you had one, you think about 5 pounds, come up right up to the bait, and
Yeah.
just earlier, you know, I had one, you know, probably about 5 pounds, grab my bait and rip the paddle off my bait, so.
They're there, they're there.
here.
It's slower, it's a little slow right now, but it could be in between times before they really start chasing them hard, you know? So we're just gonna keep, the lake kind of went calm on us. Makes it a little tougher, but the bait's there. If the bait's there, a lot of times the fish are there. You just gotta, you know,
Keep casting.
keep casting.
That's all
Yeah,
there's to it. Keep casting, get it.
they call
get it
these
in front of
reaction baits for a reason. You know, that's another thing that's really important to always remember too, because we've been down this bank a couple of times back and forth. When you see the shad like that, don't be afraid to go back through. Don't say, oh, it's used water, because fish are moving constantly chasing these shad. So they'll be there 1 minute and gone the next, right?
Yep, just got bit again right there.
And I'm talking and not throwing. I need to get out there. Hey folks, I know this happens to a lot of us, especially throwing braid, but Matt, here's our tip of the week. show them what they should not do to get this out.
Yeah, well, first of all, if I just were to reel up right now, there'd be a loop. Well, the wind's kind of blowing it, but there's a loop right there, and that's what causes a lot of your problems. Because when you go out to cast again, that loop will come out and it just turns into a big bird's nest. So always make sure that when you put your bail down, that the line's tight over the spool. So pull all the line out, and I just pull it slow. See, if I were to cast right now, that would get all twisted up and
knot up. It's like thread. It'll knot up.
And it happened earlier.
Yes.
So pull it out nice and slow to where that loop comes out.
And it could be back there a little bit, and it's way back
Wow,
there.
there it goes.
All right, it's out.
So now once the loop's out, sometimes you have to work the knot out, but now I'm good again. Because I've had several times where I've had to cut my spool out and empty the line out, and that'll save you from doing that. So don't reel it up and make another cast, pull it out.
Yeah, don't think that you're gonna be able to cast that out, because you're gonna cause a lot of grief. Pull it out real slow and you'll save yourself a lot of grief, and This line's not cheap, so you'll save yourself some line too.
There you go.
There's your tip of the week. Hey folks, you know, we've always mentioned the term match the hatch. And it really does work when you match the hatch. And that means if your shad are little, tiny, small shad, you want to try to match that size when you're throwing, you know, for single fish like what we're doing a lot of times. But make no mistake, there are times that if you're throwing in big boils of shad and they're not biting on that match the hatch size that you've got, sometimes that little bit bigger, juicier bait will get those fish to come up and hit. And I'll tell you what, it will make a difference sometimes whether you're going to catch the big fish or the little fish in some of those wolf packs of shad that they have. So always think about matching the hatch, but sometimes something a little bit bigger, it distinguishes your bait from what else, everything else that's going on, and that fish can zone in on it quicker. Oh. He came right up and whacked that bait, man. Did you see that? There's another one following it down there.
It was 2 feet from the boat.
Yeah, that was crazy. Come on, buddy, you're done. Gotcha. Not a giant fish, but covered a little bit of different bank. See if we could catch him. And there you have it. He hit right at the boat.
I saw that.
Did you see that?
He came right off that boulder right there. He's perched right back in that boulder. That's what's cool about places like this, just little ambush points where they have a little bit of shade in these rocks and they'll come flying out.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Well, I'll tell you, that's basically what that fish did. We decided to try to cover some different water and cover different parts of the lake here. We're not seeing all the shad jumping like we were earlier. It's like they came up and went down or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Could be area.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, you see on Facebook a lot of guys are catching them really good on the, you know, at night, you know, and the nighttime bites.
Yeah, well, we're in a
been
full
really
moon.
good. There's a guys catching some 6 to 8 pound fish at night, and I think with that full moon, I think a lot of them are really feeding at night.
Yeah.
There you go.
I can't catch up to it.
Oh,
yeah.
nice one.
Ooh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, son.
A little better right there. Fun when they pull like that, isn't it?
Come on, baby. That's a nice one. It's about time. We waited for that fish, didn't we?
Got to work for him today, that's for sure. But
we worked for him. God, he don't want to come up.
I know, they're so strong here.
Oh, look at that.
Nice fish.
Oh, yeah. That's what you call crossing their eyes.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. Poor fella. Look at that, huh? Oh, my goodness.
Dark fish, too, huh?
Yeah, that's been up there. He took that bait. Matt, there you have it. Beautiful fish. Canyon Lake. Even though the fishing's been tough, we stuck it out. We had a good time. Wasn't nearly as good as you thought it was going to be, bud, but we still had a good time.
Yeah.
You know,
it
I mean,
happens. I mean, it's all the fun. Say these fish are finicky sometimes. It's just, you know, from one day to the next, from one hour to the next, and yeah, we tried everything, that's for sure.
You got the kitchen sink out here on the deck, and that's part of what it takes sometimes to try to catch some fish, but we stuck with what we kind of had going and stuck it out, especially when you talk to other anglers and found out that they weren't getting bit. At least we knew we were getting bit once in a while, so we stuck it out, and I thought it was fun. Thank you so much, Matt. I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Coming on the show with us here at Canyon Lake. Hey, don't miss us next week. I'm Johnny Johnson. Thanks for joining us. Now, see, that's what I'm talking about, folks.